What's good, Commanders fans? Just wanted to make a video for you guys, just talking about the tight end position, which tight ends I think are going to make the roster. And of course, I will talk about a couple of the front office changes that were made and a couple updates in the front office. So let's get to the tight end position. I will do the wide receivers again. I'm going to do the running backs. Might do I might do the corners and safeties, defensive line, offensive line. I might run through just those. We got nothing but time here since until training camp starts in a couple weeks. But let's talk about the tight end position, and then I'll get into the Eugene Shen departure and Brandon Sosa being promoted, Doug Williams being promoted. I'll get to that after this. So let's just look at the roster here. So are we going to keep three? Are we going to keep four? Looking at what San Fran did last year, they kept four guys. If you're kind of going to base it off of Adam Peters and what he did, or you could really go off of what Cliff Kingsbury has done in the past. But last year, the Niners, they kept George Kittle, Charlie Warner, Ross Dwelly, and Braden Willis. So they kept four tight ends. Personally, I mean, we could keep three or four. But right now on the training camp roster, we have 6 guys. We have John Bates, Zach Ertz, Armani Rogers, Ben Sinnott, Cole Turner, and Colson Yankoff. There possibly could be a surprise cut if they only keep 3, but I think most likely they will keep 4. But just breaking down the position, Zach Ertz, 33 years old, didn't play much last year due to injury. So, I mean, I think he's still very, very talented and a really, really good tight end. He's had a really, really good training camp so far, connected with Jaden Daniels, also having a couple of nice catches from Marcus Mariota. You see the one highlight where he did jump up pretty high and showed some of the vertical there. A lot of people call him No Yak Zach. I know some people get upset when I talk about that, but he's not much of a yak guy. Never was much of a yak guy, but we know he used to cook us when he was with the Eagles. But I still think there is something left in the tank. I do think he can get about, give you 40 catches, 40 to 50 catches, probably 5 or 6 touchdowns, something like that. I think if he can stay healthy, knock on wood, I really think he could really contribute to this team. A great leader, knows the offense that Cliff Kingsbury runs, had a solid year or two with the Arizona Cardinals as well. So I really think he can come in and be an impact player and be a really, really good security blanket for Jaden Daniels and a good mentor for Ben Sinnott as well. You look at some of the numbers with Arizona, had 47 catches for 406 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was back in 2022. 2023 had 27 catches for 187 yards and 1 touchdown. That was with Arizona as well. And then just the injury started to pile up for him. When he did come to Arizona in 2021, we talked about this a couple times when we signed him. He had 56 catches with Arizona for 574 yards and 3 touchdowns. If we can get something similar to that, that would be awesome. He is a perennial Pro Bowl player, but we all know that he is at the last chapter of his career for sure. So my expectations aren't super, super high. Catch percentage is really good, 62%. We've heard in camp that he still knows how to get open, just lean on guys. Not about speed, but just, from the neck up, knows how to get to the soft spots of the zone and get open, So that's what we really need. We really need a red zone threat from our tight end position too. We just didn't get much of it last year. Logan Thomas, he tried. I know I gave Logan Thomas a hard time. He was okay at best, solid. But in Cole Turner, for whatever reason, Eric Bieniemy just didn't use him at all in the red zone. Just didn't use him at all. Like, he barely played Cole Turner. Cole Turner barely got any snaps. Cole Turner had a really good preseason. That's the most mind-boggling thing about the situation, is how good of a preseason Cole Turner had. The Browns game, he had a good game. The Ravens game, he had a good game. The 2 preseason games where the starters played, Cole Turner had a really good connection with Sam Howell. 6'6", some people say he's 6'7". Nevada listed him at 6'7", 240 pounds, but right now on the website he's listed at 6'6". I mean, just a red zone target. I mean, even in that Titans game where Carson Wentz threw the 2 picks in a row, I don't even think he was in the game. I got to look back at it, but they didn't even use him or try him in that red zone scenario. I hate to bring up nightmares about that situation, but just like situations like that, it's like, try to use a 6'7" guy. Just give the guy a chance. Throw the ball up there like basketball. He can come down with it. It's better than just throwing an interception like Carson Wentz did. So, but Zach Ertz, that's what I'm expecting now. Of course, he's going to make the roster. He's going to be a leader. He's going to be a captain of the team for sure. Probably may not wear the C on his chest, but he's going to be looked to as, as a vocal leader and kind of like another player coach out there. 12 years in the league. I mean, he's had a decorated career for sure. All right, let's move on to Ben Sinnott. Ben Sinnott is definitely going to make the roster, and he's going to be a huge part of the team. Can be used as H-back, used as a fullback. Chris Cooley is super, super high on him. Chris Cooley said on the podcast that he feels like he's watching him out there when he watched some of his tape from last year at Kansas State. You look at some of the numbers in the red zone. I talk about the red zone so much. 9 catches in the red zone, 6 touchdowns, and an 87.0 PFF grade, which was first in FBS last year in the red zone. So yards per route run, 2.00. Also receiving grade led Kansas State in his final season per PFF. 40-inch vertical leap. 40-inch vertical leap. To be 6 foot, what is he? 6'4", 247 pounds with a 40-inch vertical is just insane numbers. The last guy to do that, and the last guy to do that was drafted in the first 3 rounds was Vernon Davis. That's how athletic he is. Vernon Davis was drafted in, 2005, something like that? So it's been a long time since we've seen a guy with that height and that size have a 40-inch vertical leap. Basically, windmill of basketball. Vince Carter had a 43-inch vertical leap. So that's just showing you how high this guy can jump, how athletic he is. Also, I mean, he's a yak guy. 14 missed tackles forced on just 48 receptions in 2023. So, I mean, the guy can break a lot of tackles. He's a strong guy, versatile. He's willing to block. He is willing to block. A darn good blocker. Can play H-back, fullback. Can kind of be like a Kyle Juszczyk out there. That's kind of what Adam Peters felt when drafting him. So, I mean, I think the talent and the ceiling is very, very high for Ben Sinnott. Ran a 4.68 40-yard dash, which is pretty solid for a tight end. So the guy's just an athlete, man. He's an athlete and a half. And I'm intrigued to see what he does. He was the only tight end with a 75-plus receiving and run block grade last season. So it shows that he can really, really get out there and catch the ball. 31 explosive plays since 2022, which is third among tight ends in FBS as well since the 2022 season. So Ben Sinnott, what I'm expecting for him, his rookie year, probably around 30 catches, couple touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, probably 400 500 yards. I could say something similar to that. I'm looking for 400 to 500 yards as a rookie. I'm not going to put too many expectations on him as his rookie season, but that's something I could see for him. I got him making a roster for sure. John Bates, pretty cut and dry, blocking tight end, 4 years in the league, consistent at doing that. Has dropped the ball a couple times, but you know he's solid. That's what we need. We need a blocking tight end, so he's going to make the roster for sure. After that, it kind of gets a little murky there. Who's going to make the roster? So you got your 3 guys of Zach Ertz, Ben Sinnott, and John Bates. Those are the 3 guys that are shoo-ins. After that is between Armani Rogers, Cole Turner, and Colson Yakoff. Cole Turner could be a surprise cut. He really could be. They didn't draft him, so they have no ties to him. Colson Yakoff, this is going to be real. I don't think he's going to make the roster, but I think he'll make the practice squad for sure. He played running back in college, played tight end. He's made a couple catches in minicamp and OTAs. He's made somewhat of an impact with the second team, so he could make the roster, but I highly doubt it. I think he makes the practice squad. Other than that, it's between Cole Turner and Armani Rogers. Do you keep 5 guys? So that's a legitimate camp battle. And if you're looking at it, Armani Rogers is more athletic than Cole Turner. You can do reverse jet sweeps, different things you can do with Armani Rogers. Look at the jet sweep that he had before he got injured a couple years ago. He looked fast, man. He looked really mobile. And we haven't had a lot of yak guys that can make guys miss and make something happen, that can really, catch a 3-4 yard pass and scamper up the field and break a couple tackles and make a first down. I mean, the last time we had that was really Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis. Other than that, we just haven't really had it. Logan Thomas at times had some good plays, but just not consistently. And Armani Rogers, if he stayed healthy last year, he might have been used more in the offense. So he's really one of the most unknowns, or what could happen if he does stay healthy. And he's had a good mini camp so far as well, from what I've heard. He's made some solid plays and looked really, really fast and speedy like he has before, coming out of Ohio, the former quarterback. So if I had to pick between the two, I would think I might go with a surprise cut here and say Armani Rogers makes it instead of Cole Turner, but I wouldn't be surprised if Cole Turner makes it. But my gut is saying that Cole makes it, but the surprise cut could be Cole Turner. They're not going to keep 5 tight ends. So if they keep 4, it could be John Bates, Zach Ertz, Ben Sinnott, and then also Armani Rogers would be that last and final tight end. All right, let's move on to the front office moves here. Eugene, Shen. They have parted ways, Eugene, Shen, and Josh Harris. This is a quote. After successfully supporting the transition to new ownership last season from the Commanders, Eugene Shen will be transitioning out of the Washington Commanders organization. He is currently in discussions to support HBSE initiatives. This is per JP Finlay. Finley also says, per a source, all parties are on good terms because most likely Eugene Shen is going to be on HBSE, which is Josh Harris's company. They have the Philadelphia Sixers. They're managing and operating premier professional sports teams such as the Sixers, the New Jersey Devils, the Delaware Bluecoats, and the Utica Comets. There's a couple other teams like the Dig or something like that. Operating marquee arenas and venues, including Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, and White Eagle Hall in Jersey City, New Jersey. Now, the thing about this is they hired Eugene Shen before Adam Peters. Ron Rivera was still here, but, they hired Adam Peters, the GM. He brought in Brandon Sosas. He brought in Lance Newmark. So he brought in his guys. So maybe he just didn't want Eugene Shen there. Or I'm not going to say that, or Eugene Shen could have been put in a different position. But Eugene Shen is still going to be with Josh Harris because that's really Josh Harris's guy. And Ben Sinnott brought up a good point. A lot of guys are moving in and moving out. It's not a terrible thing. Like Josh Harris brought in Rick Spillman. He brought in Bob Myers to be an advisor. He's brought in a lot of guys to come and go as advisors. And maybe he was just using Eugene Shen as an analytical advisor to help him make decisions for, trading Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Helping draft Jaden Daniels, and Eugene Shen was with the Ravens, so he really kind of basically wanted to base the team on kind of the infrastructure of the Ravens, because the Ravens have been successful for the last couple years, X amount of years. So I wouldn't look at this as a bad thing. I saw a couple fans kind of panicking on social media, but I think he's still going to be connected with Josh Harris in some way or capacity with HBSE for sure. And he may come in a couple times just to give some insight and a couple tips here. But Brandon Sosna is the guy. He's the SVP of football operations. He was with the Lions. Brad Holmes has nothing but good things to say about him. We know the Lions made a couple good moves with drafting Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jared Goff was a good addition. He's played really well. David Montgomery, he's been really good for the Lions. Jamison Williams, solid draft pick. He's contributed here and there. They made some really good moves. Who's the tight end that they got right now? Has been really, really good. I'm blanking on his name. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but he's been awesome for them. A lot of their pickups have just been really, really good. Like Sam Laporta, he's been a heck of a pickup for them. Their offensive line is really good. Drafting the guy that we were supposed to draft, Brian Branch. So he's been instrumental in that. And also free agency moves too. The cap space, manipulating the cap, maneuvering the cap. That's what Brandon Sosa has done for the Lions, and Brad Holmes has said nothing but good things about Brandon Sosa. So I think we're in good hands here. I don't think it's really anything to panic about with Eugene Shen leaving. It's not on bad terms, like JP Finley said. HBSE is worth like a couple $1 billion, like $11 billion, something like that. So Josh Harris is always making money some way, somehow, for sure. All right. Let's see here. Let's look at some of the other moves here. Like Doug Williams was promoted. He was the advisor to Jason Wright. So this is one thing that Brad Holmes said about Brandon Sosa. Said that, quote, "That's the great thing about Brandon. He's about as elite of a communicator as I've been around." Holmes said at the NFL annual meetings in Orlando last week. And he's a grinder. He's a grinder just like I am, just like a lot of guys in our building. It's just that communication, collaboration year round. Whereas at a point, Brandon almost pretty much has a very good feel of what we're thinking already. He's very proactive in that sense. That's pretty much how it works. That's how me and Sosa communicate. And then he just kind of closes the deal. So he's really good at helping close deals via free agency. All right, so let's talk about some of the other moves here that were made. So Doug Williams is a senior advisor to the general manager. Chris White is director of pro scouting. Sarah Sazbo is the assistant to the general manager. Dwayne Jones is a national scout. He was with the Falcons at one time. So he was instrumental in their scouting department. So I've heard nothing but good things about Dwayne Jones. Jack, I can't pronounce this guy's last name, is a pro scout. Dustin Reagan is a college scout. Charles Bressinger is a scouting assistant. Rob Rogers is still on the staff as a vice president of football administration. Excuse me. Sean, can't pronounce his last name, is VP of football communications. Dylan Thompson, senior director of team support and advancement. So yeah, there's still a lot of guys that were moved around on the staff for sure. I know a lot of people still asking about Martin Mayhew and what his role is. Let me look that up too, because he still is, excuse me, Martin Mayhew is a senior personnel executive advisor to the GM, so he still is on the team as well. I know some people are kind of upset about that. Jason Wright, not sure what's going on with him, but he's still on the in the front. He still has a front office or a business role on the team as well. So those are the moves that have been made so far. So you guys, let me know what you guys think. If they really impact you guys in any way. If you guys feel any type of way about Eugene Shen, the departure and whatnot. But like I said, some guys have already came and go. Like Bob Myers is still not a part of the roster or the front office, and Rick Spielman is still not a part of the all front office. But Josh Harris has brought in guys to come and go and kind of help and advise. So, all right, you guys let me know what you guys think. Hello, Commanders. Peace.